Good morning, friends. You're tuned to Car Connection, where the coffee's strong, the stories are real, and the wrenches, they just never stop turning. I'm your host, Niall Motormouth Jenkins, coming to you from the Car Connection workshop, where the smell of fresh oil, little elbow grease, is all part of a balanced breakfast. Around here, we don't just talk cars, we live them. Whether it's a 25-year-old Jeep Wrangler getting a second chance at life, or a Nissan Rogue getting its brakes back in order, or even a mystery leak that's got everyone scratching their heads. This is where we roll up our sleeves and get it done with a little wit, little wisdom, and a whole lot of fun. The Car Connection Workshop isn't just about nuts, bolts, and diagnostics. It's about connection. The connection to our vehicles, to the people who drive them, and to the community that keeps Niagara rolling. Because when you fix a car, you're not just turning a wrench. Oh no. You're restoring someone's confidence, freedom, and maybe even their sanity. We're here every week, Monday through Saturday, helping you keep your ride safe, reliable, ready for whatever road lies ahead. So whether you're a weekend wrencher, daily commuter, or someone who just wants to understand what that strange rattle really means, welcome aboard and good morning. Stick around for shop talk, expert advice, a few good laughs, maybe a story or two, a shop flashback. That happens periodically. But most of all, it is Q&A Saturday here in the Car Connection Workshop with Motormouth's Morning Drive. Now, Car Connection has more ways for you to watch, listen, and engage. So come and join us Monday through Saturday right here for Motormouth's Morning Drive, 8 a.m. Yes, today is our first of 2026 fundraising events. And yesterday was a very busy day, and you've made it to the weekend. So for all of you who do have a weekend, what is a weekend anyway? 2 weekends out of the year I have a weekend, but it doesn't even feel right, if you know what I mean. Because when you work weekends, and I've worked weekends for 32 years now. So I'm not here to tell you my story this morning unless you really want to know that. But we need to jump in and take on Q&A because I have 3 amazing questions have come through. And we've got some amazing videos coming up on our YouTube channel, so you won't want to miss any of those automotive tech tips showing you how to do stuff, how to get into situations, and how to get back out of it. So when things go wrong, let the water hold you up. I think I've heard that somewhere before. I think I just heard that yesterday, as a matter of fact. Yeah, just let the water hold you up. Here on the south shores of Lake Erie, go and have a dip. I think it's cold still. But apparently beaches are open next week, and something I'm just on the tail end of, or should I say just on the beginnings, is it's beach day on the north shores of Lake Ontario and on the south shores of Lake Erie. I will bring you a follow-up on that because I just heard it mentioned yesterday as I was working on Orange Crush. I don't think you've seen that. I built that car it was kind of an abused automobile, just kind of left to its own, and nobody wanted to buy it because it's a stick shift. And it's a lovely little snap orange 2003 new Beetle convertible, and I worked for Volkswagen, and my company car, I had to fight for it, actually. I said, I don't want a Jetta, Golf, or Passat or anything like that, just a Beetle. That's all I want. I just want a Beetle, because at the end of the day, when the day's been rough, I don't know, I can only speak for myself. You know, when you walk up to the front of a Beetle, it always seems like it's smiling. It's kind of like your dog meeting you at the door and your day just absolutely sucked from the moment you walked in at work till the moment you left. You ever had one of those days? Let me know in an email. motormouth.jenkins@gmail.com. Anyways, she's a pretty vehicle now, and we take it out there and let the kids, and mostly the moms, want to have their picture taken in to show all their buddies. The kids kind of go, no, wait here, sweetheart. Just stand out of the way there. I'm getting my picture taken. And one lady, she says, can I hold up the car keys? Okay. I said, but yeah, don't put them in your pocket, okay? No keys in pockets. She wanted a picture of making it look like that was her car. And then that same show we were at, that was at Safari Niagara. That's where we're going to be today. Not Safari Niagara, but we're going to be in Stevensville from 10 till 4. I'm in the dunk tank. So I'm taking the 19 and a 3/4 year old Toyota FJ Cruisers already. I've given it a bit of a tidy up and added a little bit of extra something to the front of it. We're going to see what the reaction of the crowd is. Yeah, just paying respects to the original version of the FJ. Look it up. You'll see what I mean. And they're doing a retro. So I paid homage to the retro upcoming FJ. I think it's out already. I believe it is. So, missed that boat. Let's dive in this morning. If you're just joining us for the first time, if you're in the queue going through the drive-through this morning, we're praying for you. And make sure you check your order. It is weekend. It's weekend shift. We know what that can look like. Things get missed. So check your order. I've got mine ready. I got my vitamins, my vittles ready to go. Get your crayons, get your leaf bag, get it all in order so that you can take some notes this morning, get your favorite beverage going. And we would like to say thank you to Niagara Block at 5000 Montrose Road, Niagara Falls, for making this Saturday's Q&A, questions and answers, available to you on all podcast platforms, Amazon, Apple, Spotify, Podbean, wherever you pull your podcast from, we're there. Just type in Car Connection Workshop. So thank you to Kathy, Dave, and Dan Grimo, Next Gen at Niagara Block, 5000 Montrose Road, Niagara Falls, building Canada since 1931. They don't look a day over 29. I'm just saying, and they're doing really, really well. So they don't look old at all. So building Canada since 1931, it agrees with them. It's providing building supplies, every block known to mankind. I think they make it there. They literally make blocks right there. I've seen it with my very own eyes. Amazing. It is amazing. And they built all the equipment themselves over the years. That is crazy good. I really respect that, because I think when you see things, how there used to be a program called How It's Made. I would wait with bated breath to watch that program to see how things were made. It was just, I'd be in shock and awe going, who comes up with that stuff? Well, that's how they make the building supplies. They came up with that stuff to make blocks of all designs. They have steel, they have girders, they have rebar, but most of all, they can help build that dreamscape, that hardscape landscape you've always wanted. They got everything from soup to nuts to create an amazing backyard oasis. You will never want to leave. It'd be like, vacation? No, right here. I'm staying right here. I got everything I need right here. And I know some people that have done that. They invested in their dreamscape. They don't go away. They got a pool. They got everything. Why would we spend money to go elsewhere? They go, we got everything we want here. I need something. I go in the house and get it. And I hang here. So if that's what you would like to create, you need to check in with Kathy Grimo. She has a list of contractors that she can refer you to. And we can get that going for you and make it happener. All right, so let's jump in this morning. Let's have our morning swiggy together. You got yours ready? We count it down on 3, 2, 1, and then we get rolling. All right, we got weekend weather coming up in just a moment. Thank you to the fellers, Tony Miele and Larry Tetro, certified financial planning professionals. These guys are waiting to sit with you and answer your questions. They want to help you. So take advantage of their knowledge, 50 years experience. They work with one of the biggest wealth companies in the world, IG Wealth Management, and they can walk you through your portfolio and explain it out and make sure that it's working properly for you. If you're drowning in debt, like about 78% of Canada right now, we need to stick together. We are Canadians. We are resilient. Amen? Estate planning. So you need to know all about the 6 pillars and making sure that you are health proxies for your kids that are at home so that you can instruct doctors for procedures. And arranging a mortgage. I don't do bank mortgages anymore. You know why? Because I just felt like you guys just treat me like poo on the bottom of your shoe or on my sidewalk out front from the dog walkers. Like, take all your poo with you, not just some. Thank you. They have life insurance, critical illness insurance. And here's the thing. Don't get me going on insurances because I'll need to go for treatment and I don't have time. It gets me wound up. But here's the deal. When you need it, it may seem like a very, very thing that takes money out of your pocket, that it's an expense. But when you need it, folks, it's a very wise investment. So the guys are there for you. Put your wallet away in your purse and just go and get that discovery meeting done. And ladies, if he won't do it, you do it. If she won't do it, guys, you do it. Sit down at the table, put all the cards there, and hide nothing. These guys will not condemn you for anything. We all make stupid mistakes, don't we? I'm speaking on this more so because there's a lot of hurting people that think the sky is falling, and the media does not help that circumstance whatsoever. Just go and have an hour, sit down, watch what happens. The hour in the coffee will change your life. No one's going to ask you for any money. It's a discovery meeting to see where you're at, where you want to go. So on 3, 2, 1, let's go. I bought you a bit of time there so you can get through the drive-through queue. You know what that can be like some mornings. Man, you burn off a quarter tank of gas before you get your coffee. Your coffee's like $23. 3, 2, 1. I can taste the Urpels in there this morning. They're just lovely. But bring on the coffee. That's what I say. Bring on the coffee. All right, let's take a look at the weekend weather. I already peeked outside. It's wet here on the south shores of Lake Erie. I'm not sure where you are. Let me know in the email, motormouth.jenkins@gmail.com. Let me know where you're from, where you're listening to. Stay where you're at till I come where you're to. 63 degrees right now. Whew. Yesterday was a steamer. It got going. It really did. And it's raining. Wind is making it feel cooler, about 59 degrees. Cloudy conditions from 8 till 9, with windy conditions expected around 9 a.m. Great. Yeah, I'm supposed to be going in the dunk tank. Great. I better take a 5-point harness. Today's temperature range is going to be 62 to 74. Going to feel more like 57. How do they figure this out? To 72. Here in the South Shores in the Niagara region, the rain accumulation. Could it be an accumulation? Well, I'll tell you, Lake Scott is out there this morning. 0.3 of an inch. There's definitely more than that here. The last 24 hours, we've seen 0.05 of an inch. Shall we take a look at Sunday and see if that's going to bring us anything better? Let's have a look. It is weekend weather, brought to you by the fellas. CFPs, Certified Financial Planning Professionals, Tony Miele, Larry Tetro. I've known these guys 20 years, and I'll tell you, they're like my brothers from other mothers. And they can be the same for you. You will love these guys. They get down to business, but you can have fun with them. Sunday's low will be 58. Between 5 a.m. and 6 a.m., the high will be 74 between 4 and 5 p.m. Temperature range is going to feel like 57 to 76, and it'll feel a little warmer than the actual temperature. So any precipitation tomorrow, we got a 0 on the meter. But today, going to be a bumpy ride, folks. Going to be a bumpy ride. That's all I can say. I heard some thunderstorms possibility I don't see them on the radar just yet, but that's what I heard all day yesterday. Thunderstorms for Saturday. And I'm like, I ain't going in no... Would you go in a dunk tank during a thunderstorm? Today, 100%. Today, they're promising 100% chance of rain. And it's raining right now. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to poo-poo anything, but, what's the sense of going in the dunk tank if you're already wet before you get in there? I don't know. It's not my bowl, not my fish, not my circus, not my monkey. All right, let's dive in this morning. Thank you to all those who fired over their questions. You guys are amazing, and gals. Mostly, I'm going to say guys. The gals are smoking your butts clean off. So that tells me one of two things. It takes me back to about 1996. Whoa, that was a flashback. Yeah, trip through Dunnville. I can tell you that story sometime. It was the first day on radio in Buffalo. Was a very interesting drive in that morning, scooting through Dunnville, Ontario. I'll tell you that story sometime. It was crazy. It was a crazy morning, let me tell you, to get to the network. I didn't think we were going to get there on time because radio does not wait. It doesn't. Things go on. Thank you to the City Auto Sales and Leasing. If you or someone you know is in the market for a pre-owned vehicle, you've got to connect with Earl and Louise Grant, husband and wife team for over 25 years now. Greater Toronto Area's premier pre-owned auto store. They don't sell any junk there, folks. You will be treated like you won't even believe it. You won't want to leave because Louise will just hug you all day long. And Earl, he's the car guy. And they have a lot of resources to find whatever vehicle you're looking for. And he won't pick something that's going to be a pile of hoopty, if you know what I'm saying. They provide low mileage, quality vehicles at fair prices, in-house leasing and financing. And if you're thinking of going in way over your head on a car payment, Mama Louise is going to have a little sit and chat with you. I mean, it's your ultimate decision to do what you want to do, but she's going to go, this might not be a good time to do that. And there's a lot of folks right now going, they're in way over their heads on car payments, and they're defaulting, and vehicles are being repossessed. So let's keep it bright and light and cheery this morning, but that's the reality. I've been through this kind of economy. This would be round number 3 for me. Round number 3, because when we started our business, our Car Connection, it wasn't Car Connection Workshop at the time. It was Jenkins Automotive and Repairs. We did cars, trucks, and equipment. And I started in like 1991 at my house. And my neighbors loved it. And we had a little thing going there. And that was, they could drop their car off after I finished work. I'd fix it through the night, put it back in their driveway. And, they'd take care of me. I'd take care of them. They'd be like, if you need more room, and Niall, I got room in my driveway. Just, let me know, and you can park some stuff over there. But please keep the auto. I called it the Auto Salon. The only way you could get in was by invite, and then it got out of control. I had to open the shop. So that's how that happened back in the early 90s. And we're just coming out of a huge 80s recession at 17.93% interest. Fact check me on that. Yeah. I had a mortgage at 17.93%. I had a car loan at almost 23%. Just do the math. Every car payment. How much went to interest? How much went to principal? And I still have the vehicle that I bought. I was 22 years old at the time, thereabouts, give or take a hair. And I still have it. And it's the Mojave. That was $11,200 if I could have paid for it the day I bought it. And I paid over $22,000 for that truck with interest. So if you want to know how to keep an older vehicle going as long as you want, and I did the first rear brake job on that truck not last winter, the winter before. I went through the whole thing. 169,000 kilometers. I dare you to beat me on that. And how did I get to 169,000 kilometers without problems? Brake inspections, brake service. That's what I just finished on the FJ. We have a problem, Houston, on the right rear wheel, but I discovered how the problem happened, and I'll share that with you in our YouTube channel. So again, Fridays at noon, your questions have to be in by noon. That gives me the time to sift through them, pluck out 3 what I think are the best, and share the answers with all of you. And I don't just give you a bum fluff answer, I give you the answer. I break it out for you so you can really understand what it's all about. And why do I do this? Well, it's a lane I've been carving out for many years as I've been blessed with the trade that I'm in. I had some fantastic instructors over the years, including, I think, the MVM department at Mohawk College in Hamilton. What a great college that is. And, it wasn't a cakewalk. They made you work for it. You had to work for your license and work through all the years that I had to go there. And you either knew the material or you failed. That's right. There were winners and losers at that point. And if you didn't know your stuff and if you didn't show up for class, you got a CT, cease training. Now you got to go back to your boss and tell him why your butt got fired from college. Yeah, it was a great school. And I'm grateful to all the guys that I've worked alongside that have taught me some fantastic tips of the trade. And my hat goes off to the old fellas I used to sit with all the time at Mack Trucks. Those guys were, they had a lot of information. They left school and they worked for Mack Trucks of Canada. So how much knowledge did they have? Decades and decades. That's when you sit and you listen. I didn't sit with the young guys because they only talked about girls and the Sun page and all that kind of stuff. But I talked with and sat and listened to the older fellas, and that's where you learn stuff. So if there's any young people listening, you get a chance to sit down with someone who's walked 1,000 miles before you. Sit and use what you have 2 of more and 1 of less, and you will learn amazing tips and tricks, things that you would never have known or learned. And I remember a gentleman. There we go, flashback for you. I wanted to learn how to build carburetors. And I had my first boss was fantastic at carburetors. But my skill level wasn't quite there yet. But I was very intrigued about that. I'd see all the pieces and go, wow, that's like ginormous jigsaw puzzle that you can't screw up. Otherwise, it won't run right. And then I worked with a gentleman, Billy Walker. And if anybody knows him, let him know I was talking about him. He looked like a character out of Dick Tracy. I kid you not. And he always had this cigarette in his mouth, was about 10 feet long. That's just exaggerating. It was 8. And he would rebuild carburetors in the shop I worked at, top of the Jolly Cut, Sherman Access. We called it the Jolly Cut. Right at Sherman and Crockett was a little garage there. And I worked there. And I managed to get a job there just after the 80s recession. Apprentices were nowhere to be found. I was working in an automotive warehouse just to keep food on my table and pay my rent. So anyways, I met this gentleman and worked with him, Billy Walker. He was an amazing alignment rack mechanic. He could dial them right in. In fact, I could tell you a story, but I won't share that one today. But it is really funny. And anyhow, he could rebuild carburetors. He'd stand there and he'd have the radio on just lightly and smoking his cigarettes and having a beverage and building carburetors. And I said, Billy, could you teach me how to do that? With a big cigarette hanging out and an ash hanging off the end of it, he'd go, well, why would you want to do that? I said, I just think it's so interesting. Will you? What do I got to do to? He goes, okay, you really want to learn? Okay, listen to me. Now he takes the cigarette out, and now it's hanging there, smoking away. He goes, tomorrow night, you get a stool out of the showroom, you sit it by the bench here, and you shut up. Don't say a thing, just watch. I do the talking if I want to. I go, okay, I can do that. So I took extra food. I had my lunch, and then Billy went out and had something to eat, and he came back. And when he came back, I sat there till like 11:30 till almost midnight, watching him do this and setting it all up on the bench. That's how I learned it. And he said to me one night, he looked at me and he said, you really want to do this, don't you? I go, oh yeah. I said, I want to learn as much as I possibly can. I want to be able to share it with others, later on in life. Okay, all right. He said, I'm going to give you a piece of advice. Since you're wanting to learn, any article you can read that has automotive in it, you need to sit quietly and read it. And the reason is because none of the other guys are that serious about their trade. So if you're really serious about your trade, then every magazine that has automobiles in it, you need to sit and read the articles, because that will make you a better technician than any of the others sitting and watching sports and television. They'll be a tech, but not a seasoned tech. And that's how I learned to build carburetors. Billy Walker got me through it, and I can still do it today. I have 6 carburetors that have to be done, and I just got to find that quiet time to do one a week for 6 weeks. That's what I need to do to get them all cleaned up. All right, the questions are in. It is Q&A Saturday, and we can have some fun and just some banter. And if you have questions that you would like to get on the air on Saturdays, then you got to have them in by noon. Motormouth.jenkins@gmail.com. Don't forget that our homepage of our website is where everything is located. If you'd like to follow the build and repair work that we do and connect with our program partners, you just click on their logo and meet them. And thank you for those who are supporting them, because we would not be here able to do this. Our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, even our merch store, we wouldn't be able to do any of that if it wasn't for the program partners that came over with us as we left radio and launched here on full digital. We wouldn't be able to do it because you don't get monetized overnight on a YouTube channel. You got to pay the piper, friends. That's why we put out 3 good videos every single week. Every time we shoot, we work towards getting better and better and better and bringing you more information in less time, so we don't take up too much of your valuable time. So those are the things where I'm always, and Skippy's always thinking about, is how we can bring you the best that we can that teaches you 5 things. That's our YouTube channel. What it is, where it is, how it works, how you broke it, and what you could have learned that would have helped you from costing yourself additional money in repairs when all you need to do was know some stuff. Just like Billy Walker said. You get the automotive magazines, Car and Driver, and he read them all off, Road and Track, and you read every single article in there. And keep the magazines for reference. And so I did. And here I am sharing with you. So if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, you're missing out on so many automotive tech tips that I share there. And in the descriptions of the podcasts and the YouTube channel, I put a lot of little bullet point nuggets in there that aren't in the videos and aren't on the podcast. So do not just scan them like you do emails. You're missing out on a lot of information. I put it in there myself. Everything's there for you to connect with us. If you haven't subscribed, we're at about 83%. We're trying desperately to get to that 1,000 sub mark. If you can do something to help that, Skippy and I would be over the moon, let me tell you, because we're working 80 plus hours a week to put all the bits and pieces together for the YouTube channel and the podcast. I take care of the podcast 100%, and Skippy helps me with the videoing and editing and uploading, and then I take off and do the rest of the editing on the videos and do the titles, descriptions, pinned comments. I take care of all that. So it's a huge undertaking. It really, really is. There's moving pictures every single day of the calendar to make it all happen. So if you do us a huge favor, we really need that push. We're over 400 now, and I believe we can get to 1,000 by the end of June. If all of you who are enjoying the videos are part of that 83% and you're not subscribed, you know what that would do for Skippy and I? We'd be able to have breakfast and make somebody else pay for it. That would be exciting for us. The early bird $6.99 breakfast. That would be so cool. We do have a donation page now. Skippy put that all together and said, go and get this done online. I don't know how you do it, but you need to do this. And it says, buymeacoffee.com/Motormouth, N-I-L-E, Nile, Motormouth Nile. buymeacoffee.com/Motormouth Nile, N-I-L-E. And let me tell you, it's safe to donate there because they have all my banking information in order to set up that page, that donation page, because they manage it for you. And the money goes directly into the Car Connection account immediately. So thank you to all those who've been doing that. Every dollar counts. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Question number 1 this morning. Again, phenomenal questions. And the dumbest question is the one that's never asked. You own an automobile, and right now, if it's an older automobile, you hang on to that puppy, you wash it, you clean it, you take it for a walk, you gas it, you oil it, you check the fluids, you do the maintenance, because mileage does not matter. It's maintenance that matters. And I don't care what salesman says it. As an 84-year-old car salesman all his life said, Motormouth, you know when a salesman's lying? I go, no, when their lips are moving. And he was laughing. I thought that was so cool. He was 84 years old. He goes, just take what they're saying with a grain of salt. And he walked away. Great advice. So great questions. Ask your questions. Watch our YouTube channel. It is a teaching channel, not a building monster trucks and dragsters and whatnot. No, that's next year. We're going to build and give away a muscle car, one a year, once we got the monetization happening, and it puts us in good economic standing. I have 2 vehicles, muscle cars, that I'm going to put up for you to have the chance to win it. So how cool would that be? And then the proceeds go to nonprofit faith-based organizations helping the public and the community and families one at a time in the Niagara region, in our very own backyard. Okay, William asks, my AC is cool, my air conditioning is cool, and I read it as they sent it to me. So that way, if there's spelling errors or whatnot, I read it the way they sent it to me, so that way, it's their language, not mine. So William says, my AC is cool but not cold. Can it just be topped up? So what's the answer to that one? The short answer is no, it can't. No, it cannot just be a top up and down the road you go. Hody ho. Done. No, we are not allowed to do that. And the reason being is, you can fact check me on all this anytime you want. You go for it. Check out the Kyoto Accord. Okay? The Kyoto Accord tells us that we cannot release any chlorofluorocarbons into the atmosphere to burn a hole in the ozone layer so that we fry ourselves like a piece of beef jerky or crispy bacon. Yeah, we don't want to be punching holes there. We leave that up to the commercial AC guys that are dumping tons and tons of refrigerant when your automobile just holds like a little thimbleful. Bloop. That's it. They've been releasing tons and tons and tons. And I'm not exaggerating. You can fact check me on that. Top of skyscrapers. They can't capture the air conditioning refrigerant in those huge AC units on the top of skyscrapers like in Arizona and in Sin City. Yeah, Vegas. So in the automotive world, we are not to just top up a system. That'll get us a $10,000 fine as the tech, a $100,000 fine for the shop that you're working for. So we love you, but not that much. So the Kyoto Accord states that we, as refrigerant techs, we are not to release any chlorofluorocarbons into the atmosphere, poking holes in the ozone layer. So unless you're more important than the Kyoto Accord, which we had to memorize it because it was like half of the exam at Fanshawe College up in London, and I had to renew that. You got to have an ODS, ozone depleting substance license. They've since finally let us off the hook with that. It was a money grab. We had to pay for a license every year. Yeah, and then go all the way up to Fanshawe College for a redo. And write the exam again. It was, anyways, don't get me going on that. It was too bizarre. So, no, we can't just top it up and send you down the road. We have to tag, bag, gag the system with our ODS number. Our ozone depleting substance number goes right on there. So, if your vehicle's discovered to be leaking by somebody else and they blow us into the snitch line, to the ozone snitch line, we get busted for 10 G's. The shop gets busted for $100,000. I probably don't have a career anymore. So no, top ups are not done. And I totally disagree with. Here's the thing. Last time I wrote the exam at Fanshawe College, you had to have that ODS number to handle any kind of refrigerant whatsoever, automotive or other. And now you can buy these kits in the automotive stores, the jobbers. I disagree with that 210%. Because number one, if you don't know what you're playing with, you could freeze your eyeballs out, and I'm not joking. You freeze your eyeballs solid with refrigerant if it gets in your face, and you know what? You're done. You're done. And if it catches fire, well, it's toxic. So you really should not be playing with it. That's my point. So if you think you're going to save yourself some money, fellas, and just buy one of those kits and top it up, first of all, do you know what's in the system? You have to be able to identify the refrigerant that's actually in your car. You go, well, it's 134A. Well, we're not on 134A anymore. We're not. We're back to the R series of refrigerant. So give your head a shake. You cannot combine the refrigerants, because then you have a cocktail in your AC system. And I'll tell you, if I can't identify what's in your AC system to work on it, it's not getting hooked up to my $10,000 AC machine. I can tell you that for nothing. No. I love you, but not that much. So if I can't ID what is in your AC system, I'm not contaminating my machine, and it now makes it damaged. So that costs money to fix that, and you might as well just go get another machine. So that's the other reason I disagree with going, well, I can go to the parts store and I can buy a kit with gauges and everything else. Well, you know what? Hey, power to you, man. If that's what you want to do, you do that. But when you screw up your AC system completely on your vehicle, don't call me. Lose my number. Don't send me a postcard. I'm not interested in touching it. At that point, I'm out. Totally. That was me. It's not Thunder. But apparently Thunder's coming. That ought to be good. Dunk tank, Stevensville, lightning bolts. I'm thinking, I did go through the years of having permanent wave hair. Yeah, permanent. Yeah, tighter than coil springs. So, William, great question. Don't mess with it. That's my suggestion to everybody. Don't think you're going to save yourself some money and go buy one of those kits. You could harm yourself and your vehicle's air conditioning system, and you will not have saved a single penny, my friends. Not a single penny. And don't be that goo has some kind of sealant in it, and let me tell you, it can't be any good for the system, and it's going to ruin your system anyway. They don't tell you that part. And they go, well, you say, well, why do they sell it? It's buyer beware, caveat emptor. Buyer beware. You got to do your homework. They sell vehicle window tint that's so dark you can't even see the occupants. Can you pay somebody to put it on? Yeah. Do they sell it? Yeah. You get busted in the United States or any of the states going through the U.S. because your window tint, some states don't even allow window tint into the area. I'm speaking from, Watkins Glen, Finger Lake area. I built I restored a 1982 black on black Toyota Celica Supra, 6-speed, and I had the windows tinted, and I was down in Watkins Glen for Bud at the Glen at that time, the NASCAR race, and went down a week early to go camping in a place called Cayuga Park. It was nice. It was beautiful, but the thunderstorm that came through the first night took the tents to a new state. Yeah, it was interesting. I could tell you a story about that night sometime. It was interesting. Anyhow, I'm at a yard sale, and my car's parked in, there's like 50 cars along the road, and I'm just wandering through the yard sale, and the trooper's got his hat on, the whole 9 yards, hand on his gun, and he's going, "Who owns the black car?" And the people that had the yard sale knew it was me, and they were looking at me and just slightly nodding their head like to say, "Don't say anything." So I'm just standing there, and the trooper's wandering back and forth. "Who owns the black car?" Because he knew it was from Canada. It had the white plates on it. Yeah, we had too much snow on the plates at that time. That's what they would say. And the lady's looking at me and just shaking her head again, going, no, don't say anything. Don't say anything. "Well, it shouldn't be down here with that window tint on. I could tag you for enough things to put your car in jail for the rest of its life." I'm going, "Okay, say nothing." And he walked off. "It needs to be moved." It was in line with everybody else's car, but it was the one that needed to be moved. So he picked on it because I had window tint in a state that doesn't allow it. There you go. So you got to know what you're doing. So with your air conditioning, leave it to a pro. Here's the thing. If the refrigerant is low, did your neighbor steal it? Your refrigerant? No. Is there a leak somewhere? Yes. So if you had a bolt sticking out of your tire and the tire's flat, do you want me just to pump it up and leave the bolt in there? Or would you like me to remove the bolt, fill the hole, plug the hole, and then put the air in the tire? It's common sense, right? Air conditioning is exactly the same way. If the refrigerant's low, our job as a AC tech we need to leak test the system, put a dye pack in the system, let it run, increase the pressures so that we can find the leak, then drain it out, drain the refrigerant out quickly and fix the leak. Then we can pump it up, do a second leak test, and then down the road you go. That's how that works. So great question, William. I hope I didn't hurt your feeling. I didn't mean to, but that's how we got to do it. So don't go playing with that stuff at the store. I would not recommend that whatsoever. Kate asks, "My engine sounds really noisy, and it used to be quiet. Help." Well, here's the thing with engine noises. And we don't know what it is. I mean, if I'm not there, I don't know what it is. You could try and describe it to me. I might pick it up in a live question, but here in a written question, here's what I would say to anyone. If something smells bad, there's a smell coming from your car, like orange crust yesterday. I'll share that in a video. You'll want to know this one. Definitely. You're going to want to know this one. What happened? It smelled like death. Yeah. So anyhow, before I skip on a tangent, noises, rattles, bangs, thumps, thuds, rattles, and if you fire the engine up and it doesn't sound normal, it's probably because there's something not normal going on. So if we check the engine oil and the engine oil's good and it's still, when it fires up, it's loud, we need to get into that. So that's the short story on that one. Anytime there's indicators like that, and Kate, you're all over it by recognizing, and I give you big kudos for that you notice something's not quite right. That the engine sounds really noisy when it used to be really quiet. So something is going on, and engines are expensive. So we don't want to be messing with that, because you could be $16,000 to $24,000 in the hole if your vehicle needs an engine. So we don't want to play with that one too long whatsoever. So Kate, get it into the shop. If it's really, really noisy, my suggestion would be get Auto Club to haul it in. Don't run it anymore until we know what we're dealing with, because that's where, again, a $200 repair can turn into thousands and thousands of dollars in a brief moment. So if it's sounding like the engine is noisy, then something is going on. Let's get to the bottom of it ASAP and cut it off before it goes into something catastrophic. We don't want to go there. So Kate, good ear on that, and you're asking the right question. So if it's really noisy, don't drive it anymore. Get it towed to the shop. Let's have a looky-see what's going on, so that if something's developing, we can get after it before it turns into something catastrophic. So good call. Way to go. I thought that was, it's an easy question for me, but it's a question that I thought would bring a lot of benefit. So if you smell something, hear something, and the engine doesn't sound quite right, shut it off, get it towed in. Let's see what's going on before, while you're driving it, something catastrophic happens that ends up costing you a bundle of money to fix it, or it's DNR, do not resuscitate. It's over. And if you're not in a position to replace the automobile, that really makes it tough. And I've seen those conversations, many of them, and my heart just breaks when I have to watch a husband and wife, and the wife is crying, and they don't know how they're going to pay to get the car going, and they don't have the money, and the credit cards are backed up like a bad toilet, and they're in a tough spot. And, a lot of times, I'm not patting myself on the back. I just say, what, could you pay for the parts? I'll do the work after hours, not on shop time, and help them out, get them going, get them out of a tight spot. But the thing is that, feed a man for a day with a fish, teach him to fish, he feeds himself for a lifetime. So you got to be careful that, you're not just throwing gasoline on the fire, that you want to teach them how to fish. And if things don't change, if nothing changes, then nothing changes, and they'll be right back in the same problem a month or two down the road. So it's as a tech, it's using discernment to say, okay, if I give up an evening with my family and fix this, is this going to help them to move forward or not? Yes or no? And sometimes I'd have that conversation and just say, if I did the labor, are you going to get yourself back in this position again in another couple of months, 6 months, a year? Or what have you learned from this? If I supply the labor, what have you learned from this to prevent backing yourself in a corner, changing some things at home, changing your spending habits? I would have to have that conversation for me to feel good about saying, okay, you don't want to throw good money after bad. And if I'm investing my time in doing it, the labor for free, and letting them pay for the parts, I don't want them to go one lap around the mountain again. So anyhow, that's the thing there. Number 3 is Sandy. That's a pretty name, Sandy. You don't hear that name much anymore. Okay, I got it. How do you know when you need tires? Great question. not a lot of us pay a whole lot of attention to what I call your insurance that keeps you on the road. Because if you can't steer it and you can't stop it, nothing else really matters. Condition of tires is of utmost importance because you need to be in control of the car, not the car in control of you. That's how that doesn't work, is the tail doesn't wag the dog. If the tires are in bad shape, it doesn't matter about the rest of the mechanicals on the car. The tires aren't going to get you the grip and aren't keeping you safe. So we need to measure the tread depth. We need to take a look at the production date on the tires because if after 6 years, they should come off. So from the date they're born, 6 years, take them off because the rubber decays. That's what happens. It degrades. It rots. Tires rot, and the UV rays certainly help that to happen. Dries the rubber out, and they start to develop cracking in the treaded surface, and that's where you get a blowout for sure. So if the sidewalls are showing dryness and cracking, and you got cracking in the treads themselves, those are done. If you have like 30 seconds of tread depth left, that's like the thickness of a bologna skin when you peel it off. That's not enough meat against the road surface. So tires, to me, things I don't skimp on at all: steering, brakes, and tires. I have actually given away tires to families that had bald tires with wire hanging out that I took off my own vehicle because I was able to have the funds to replace them and pass them on to somebody who's riding on Baldinis. Now, in that case, you know what? Having some meat is better than steel belts hanging out of the tire and the tires are splitting open, if you know what I'm saying. So I would usually set my old set of tires up in my mezzanine and tag and bag them the date they came off. And if we heard of someone who was in a bad way, and those tires fit, we'd put them on for them and keep them going. So we want to look at production date. How old are they? Are they showing wear and tear in the tread surface? How much meat, how much tread depth is left? And is there any cracking? Is there any premature wear? We want to take a really good close look at tires this time of year as we're heading into the hot season where the blacktop is hotter than a pepper sprout. I've heard that somewhere before. And you don't want to have a blowout. Trust me. You will pee your pants or other. You do not want a steering tire to blow out when you're on the highway. You will be screaming. You'll probably let go of the steering wheel and the car will just do its own thing. You go, ah! That's a natural reaction. Trust me. So we want the tech to measure your tires and inspect all 4 tires. All 4. We don't just change one. You change them in pairs. Ultimately, it's best to do a set of 4. Ultimately, that way you've got same grip, same traction, same performance on all 4 corners of the vehicle. So it keeps everything equal. That's the secret. Is a vehicle becomes a weapon when it's not maintained right, because that vehicle goes into a skid or something and you've got steering, you got brake problems, you got tire problems. That car's, the tail's wagging the dog. You're just along for the ride. So having a safe vehicle is insurance against somebody else's blunder where you got to pull and what we call an invasive maneuver to avoid being part of somebody's nightmare. You want to be able to do that and do it quick and do it safely and go, whew, that was a close call. You want to be able to steer clear and get the heck out of Dodge. So here's how you can check it yourself. If you have something that we don't usually have anymore, a penny, right? A penny. You want a penny with the Queen's crown on the back on her head. Now place the crown, so the top of her head, towards the tire surface and slide the penny in there. If you're seeing more of her crown than you should, then the tire's worn out. It's done. It's done. That tread depth, and you're below the 330 seconds. So you want to see more of her head than of her crown. Got it? Yeah. And you can do the same thing with an American penny on Lincoln's head. If you're seeing more of the top of his head and his hat than his head, his actual face, then the tread depth is about as thick as peeling off a bologna skin on a slice of German bologna. Garlic. Lots of mustard. Yeah, I'm getting there. Hunger is coming. So that's what you need to do. Remember these 3 rules. If you can't steer it, you can't stop it, nothing else matters. You got to be able to steer it, stop it, nothing else matters. So remember, mileage doesn't matter, maintenance does. We'll see you bright and early Monday morning for another edition of Motormouth's Morning Drive. Thanks for staying with me today. I appreciate each and every one of you very, very much. Everything you need to connect with us is on the homepage of our website. That's the biggest drawer in our toolbox. Top right-hand corner are all the platforms that we're involved in. Our YouTube channel's there. There's well over 400 items for you to watch and listen to. And 3 new videos come up every week. So like, share, follow, subscribe, most of all. Leave a comment. I love reading your comments. And always try and remember to do a pinned comment to get the conversation going, because I want to know what's in your head, some of the experiences you've had. And ring the notification bell so that you get all the notifications when new videos come up, so you don't miss a single automotive tech tip, because they're always different. And so thank you to each and every one of you. Our donation page, buymeacoffee.com/Motormouth Nile. So that's buymeacoffee.com/Motormouth Nile, my first name, Nile. And we'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for being with us today. Have yourself a fantabulous weekend, and we'll see you in the Car Connection Workshop for another edition of Motormouth's Morning Drive, bright and early Monday morning. It's your turn to buy the coffee. We'll talk to you soon. Love you all. Bye for now.